Girl, Shanetta J. Harrell, your favorite online wife life resource, and I am here with day number 6 of the 25-day Wife Life Live experience, and I'm so happy about it. I hope that everyone had a great day. I hope that you were able to, if you're in Raleigh, for you to enjoy the rain. And I just hope that everyone is staying dry out there, and that everyone is being safe, right? So first off, I want to, just thank everyone for day number 5. Like, last night was crazy, right? If you were on last night, you would know that it was crazy. And I just cannot say enough to thank you, so much for everyone who continues to support the 25-day Wife Life Live experience. And as always, I really hope that I am empowering you to be the best version of being a wife as possible. Okay. So just jumping right on in, I'm going to try not to be as long as I was last night. I went way beyond my limit last night, but if you are new here to the 25-day Wife Life Live experience, this experience is actually an opportunity for me to share some of my most vulnerable and just lessons of life, right? And just some of my own personal experiences that will hopefully empower you to share your own and really empower you to get to the core out of all of those layers that are underneath there, right? I like to say that we are all like onions, right? We are all like onions, and there's just a lot to us, right? So let's just jump right on in. Today, my topic for the day is I'm not the same weight I was in our wedding photo. Just like I said yesterday, I do not at all prepare, these topics that I do. I just really, try to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, and I just try to be, as relatable and transparent as possible. And so I like to, talk about things that are, real life experience, right? And things that are really a part of wife life, right? So let's just jump right on into it, okay? I'm not the same way I was in her wedding photo. How many of us can really say that? I know that I can, right? This really prompted me because, in our master bedroom, there's a picture on our nightstand, of, my husband and I in our wedding photo. And, I've been looking at it, and I was like, dang, like back then, my arms, were a little bit more toner, my waistline, was a little snatched, my face looked slim. I mean, I was really in shape for this wedding photo, right? And that's what really prompted me, to, really talk about this, right? Because I think it's something that, a lot of women can identify with. And so, I got to thinking, and, I was thinking when I got home today, and I was like, wow, like what happened to me? I'm, probably about 15, 20 pounds heavier than I was when I married my husband 2 years ago. And if you're anything like me, there's just so many things that contribute to weight gain and weight loss, right? So some of you, might have been smaller in your wedding photo, and some of you might have been larger in your wedding photo, right? And so for me, I was definitely smaller in my wedding photo, and I would like to return back to that weight, right? But the reality is, we were definitely in different seasons of our lives, at that time. And, now currently we're definitely in a new season. And so with this season, my husband and I are trying to make every effort to be as healthy as possible. My husband, did lose 100 pounds a couple of years ago. And so he really encourages me, by exercising 3 to 5 times a week, really doing low carb and high protein, and, really just trying to be as healthy as possible. But what I wanted to empower you today was not about exercise. It wasn't about food. It wasn't about any of that. what I wanted to specifically empower you guys on today is about health is not about food. I want you guys to hear me, when I say that health is not about food. It's just not, right? And so, I know that, we think it is, and to some degree it is. We want to eat healthy food, we want to have healthy regimens, we want to have healthy exercise. But let's just really think about this thing, right? Whenever we experience, extreme weight loss or, extreme weight gain, oftentimes those things are a result of other things that we experience in our life, right? So if we peel back the layers to that, some of us, we might just emotionally eat. Some of us might, get bored and eat. Some of us, might, enjoy ice cream. For me, can I just say that I love gelato, Talenti, right? Can I just say that after I've had a long day, that I want to go to Target to get Talenti, and I don't want to just eat half. I want to eat the whole thing, right? I just want to eat the whole thing. I don't want to eat half. I want to eat the whole thing, right? Or, even if you have a glass of wine or, anything like that, those are some of the things that we automatically result to, right? And so, hi, Tim, you are driving but listening. Yes. Just be careful, girl, because it's raining. So one of the things that, I was thinking about today, and I was like, wow, like, what area in my life was I in when I got married, right? Why was I that size? And the reality was, my husband and I were, we were younger, we had so much faith, we had just moved out on our own. We didn't have hardly any money. We just were on faith. We were high, we were on cloud nine, right? And so I was very, very happy. And so just like you, I think a lot of us, after year 2, right? And even some of us, even after year 1, after year 2, we begin to, start to, and even in other years of your marriage, right? You begin to, is just like having a roommate, right? Sometimes some of us, we can say, sometimes it's like having a roommate. We get comfortable. We don't really care about going to the gym as much because we don't have a wedding dress to fit into. Or, we don't really care about, really what we eat because, we don't have a waistline to, really look forward to. But what I really want to empower you, though, is there's so much that lies beneath that, right? And so for me, just sharing my personal experience, because that's what the 25-day Wife Life Live experience is about. For me, I am a very clean eater. I love to eat clean, and I can eat clean all day, right? But with me, with my eating, the reality is I like dairy and I like coffee, right? And so I really don't like to exercise. And so when I put back the layers to that, and I think about health being in a sense of, health, like, not thinking about food or exercise, for me, that says a lot. For me, as a child, I was bullied a lot about my weight when I was younger. I've always been a fit girl. I've always been a little curvy. I've always had, a big butt, and I've always had, just, curves in general, right? And so one of the things that, I really, had to remember and remind myself is that, I have to be healthy in a sense of the way that I think, right? I have to be healthy mind, body, and spirit. And so what that means is in my mind, I was always programmed to think like this little girl that had been bullied, right? And I was very insecure about my weight, and I was very insecure about how I looked, how I appeared to people, right? And so I had to get to a point in my life, and just currently I'm getting to this point where I'm saying, you know what, Shanetta, regardless of what the scale says, like, you're healthy mind, body, and spirit. And even in the areas that you still struggle with, God is still good. And you know what? He gives us his word, and he gives us resources, and he gives us those people to be able to help us along the way, right? And so what I really want to empower you to think about tonight is, if you are, unhappy about the way that you look, about your weight, you're looking at your wedding photo and you're like, dang, I look good. Or if you look at your photo and you're like, woo, I never want to be back that size. I really want you to, just really peel back your layers, and ask yourself, what area in my life is unhealthy? Right? Am I unhealthy in how I compare myself to other women? Am I unhealthy spiritually, which then translates to, emotional eating? So for example, let's say, it's a Saturday night, right? Or let's say it's like a Friday night. And instead of, watching, something of substance, or, picking up the Bible or listening to a devotional or doing anything like that of substance, we don't want to do that. Right? That causes us to think. It causes us to look at our sin. It causes us to look at all of these different things, right? And the reality of it is, we don't always feel like doing that, right? And so what do we do instead? What do we do instead? We go get ice cream. We go get food that we really don't need. We just lounge around. And then what happens? Our energy is tired. We're tired. We don't really feel like being bothered. We're laying on the couch. We're watching Netflix at 10. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Then we're eating ice cream, right? So all of these things, you guys, it really contributes to that. And so what I really want to empower you, really tonight as well, is to look at your marriage and say, what area in my marriage is unhappy? What area in my marriage is unhealthy? What area in my life could cause me to exercise my mind, can cause me to exercise my body, and then can cause me to exercise my spirit, right? Because exercise is not merely just about physical, right? It's about the state of mental, spiritual, and emotional, right? Mind, body, and spirit. And so what I really want to share with you also is that don't ever think that you are alone, when it comes to being insecure about your body and being insecure about weight loss in general, right? And, again, like if you were tuning in on last night when we talked about, discerning the voice of God, we talked about, discerning the voice of the Holy Spirit. And, when I begin to say things like, whoo, I look a mess. Like, whoo, I have gained so much weight. Like, whoo, I am not nearly as cute as I used to be. Whoo, oh God, like, what has happened to me? I have let myself go, right? No. Because then what are we doing? We are speaking those things. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to say, you know what? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And how God made me is incredible. And I am good. And you know what? I'm going to be healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So what that means is when I look at my wedding photo and I see that my waistline was snatched, my face was beat to the gods, my hair was laid, and, I was just in this state of happiness that nobody could take us off of. That's where I want to be, and that's where I want to continue to be. Now, don't get me wrong. Marriage is hard. I'm going to tell you, I'm here to tell you, marriage is very hard. Marriage is probably one of the hardest things, if not the hardest things that I have ever really experienced. But in that, there's so much beauty, and there's so much growth, and there's so much health in that. And I can say that, tests really do make you stronger, especially in marriage. But I say all that to say, I really hope that I empowered you guys. I really hope that you believe and that you know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? So some of the strategies that I wanted to leave you guys with on tonight was, feeling good about you, right? Feeling good about you. If you're anything like me, when we're watching TV, right, and we see all of these beautiful women and we're like, God, like, wow, like she looks so good. Like her makeup is on point. Her hair is on point, right? Her clothes are nice. Like her body is just phenomenal, right? We go to church. We do the same thing. Wow, like we envy all of these things, guys. We go to the store and we're looking at a woman up and down and like, wow, like, I really wish I could be her size. But you never know when somebody is looking at you and saying the same thing. Or you never really know about what God is really thinking of you, right? And so when we get to a point in our lives and we can say, you know what? I am only going to care what the Lord thinks of me. And matter of fact, I already know what he thinks of me. He said in his word that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I was created in his image. So that means that if I was created in his image, then that means that he knows already, he knows me, he knows what I look like, he knows the hairs on my head, right? That's just how sovereign he is. And so just to leave you guys with a few strategies to, focusing more on your health and taking steps to being healthy is, I think one of the things that really helped me at one point in my life was I actually had a food journal. And so I like journaling anyway, and I like writing. And so one of the things that really helped me was, every day, like when I journal and have quiet time with the Lord, I would also write down what I ate, right? And I would also write down the exercise that I did. And so when you begin to be disciplined and when you begin to set aside quiet time for the Lord and read his word and seek his word, you will also notice that other things in your life also become healthier, right? So when you do things and you're like, you're waking up 30 minutes earlier, you're staying up 10 minutes, later to read that word and, to really study, you really start to say, wow, like, Lord, like, help me to fill this void that I'm feeling. Like, you become like, emotionally, you become drawn to the Holy Spirit instead of drawn to the refrigerator, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Now, every now and then I am still like, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm getting some ice cream and I might just give me some chips while I'm there, right? But the reality of it is I want to get to a point, and I am in a season where I'm like, something has to change about my health. I want my children to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy in my mind. I want to have healthy thoughts, right? I want to be healthy in my body, and I want to be healthy in my spirit. I want to carry God's word with me. I want to be so connected to the Holy Spirit that I'm always being vigilant of where I am, where I'm going, and who I'm entertaining, right? Mind, body, and spirit. Those three things, right, is what health is about. So, again, tonight I wanted to keep it short. I know last night I was up here for almost 40 minutes. But tonight I really wanted to empower you to be healthy, mind, body, and spirit. And when you do those things, I promise you that God will really begin to show you just how healthy he is, and he will show you what health looks like, right? And so, say it with me. I'm not the same way I was in our wedding photo. And guess what, ladies? It is perfectly okay. It is okay. You are not less than of a woman. You are not better than a woman. And that ultimately is not going to, God doesn't care about that, right? God cares about mind, body, and spirit and where you are in him, with him, and what you're doing for him. Right? So as always, you can follow me on Instagram at Sharnetta J. Harrell. There you will find my link tree. You can find my blog there. You can find my YouTube channel there, which is where this video and many others will be posted. You can find links to my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, remember, you are not the same weight that you were in your wedding photo, and that's okay. Get healthy, mind, body, and spirit. Peel back those layers. What areas in your life are unhealthy? And let's do it. Let's do it together. And I'll see you right here tomorrow. Can't promise you the time, but I can promise you that I'll be here. I am Sharnetta J. Harrell signing off, your favorite online wife life resource, and I am empowering you to peel back your layers one day at a time. Have a good night.